Hello, it's pproteus here, back after a long time with another challenge with Inside Out. So I'm playing against a player I played recently. I think they're on Boros, and I'm going to keep this hand because it's great. All I need are, well, I need the combo, but I've got lands, including a white land. I have cantrips, I have Brainstorm plus Shuffle. I even have Circular Logic so that when I do hit the tribe, I can protect it from a journey. This is pretty great. So let's see if my opponent has something similar. So I'm playing a deck that's I haven't changed it up much in the past month and a half. So it's the tribe's kind of got a lot of slots that you really need to fill, and even if you try building differently, which I have, I keep coming back to this same structure with the augurs and everything else. So I want the tribe for sure. Shadow Rift is a combo piece, so I need that, especially against Boros. And Gush is less important, so I'll put the Gush last. I do not want Shuffle. I do probably want to Gush, but Gush is replaceable, and I can draw at the last second. Whereas I can't go off unless I have Shadow Rift. Ever. Probably. Depends on what my opponent has. I'd like to discover what my opponent's on, of course. So against Boros, they're going to be pretty slow usually in the opening turns, and I want to capitalize that by threatening to kill fast. And I don't think I want to play Tribe on turn 2 because my opponent will journey it, and I have the Circular Logic. So I think instead I want to Ponder plus Fetch, and then turn 3, or I could just Brainstorm plus Fetch, although I don't have things to shuffle away, so I'm not as inclined to do that. Brainstorm Fetch? Let's do it so I don't have to give myself away. I think my opponent's on Boros still, despite this start. Maybe we're Thermal Alchemist. Well, that's not Boros. So Burn is a bit of a different matchup, and it's a weird one, where I think I am the control deck in this matchup, not the aggro deck, because my opponent generally doesn't have anything that can go over the top of me. So this guy gets 2 for 1 by Inside Out, and then after sideboard I bring in Lone Missionaries, I bring in 4 Hydroblasts, and those cards are quite good against Burn for obvious reasons. Before, it can be a bit dangerous where I might be forced to race, but after sideboard I'm just kind of pure control. So I think I am going to Brainstorm Shuffle, I'm looking for the combo. It's hard to combo off versus Burn because they can just Fire Blast me. And so I need to be confident they don't have that before I try to go off. That's the issue. Otherwise, I can just look for Inside Out. Inside Out is going to be a very good card just to cast on the next turn. And then I don't need to be afraid of playing Tribe. In fact, if I had played Tribe, I might have scared them out of doing that. So in this configuration, I've got 1 Piracy Charm main deck. And Piracy Charm actually has a role in this matchup because it kills Firebrand Archer. So what do I want to do here? I'm going to ditch Gush and Probe. I'm assuming that I'm actually going to have to kill a Firebrand Archer. So let's do this. Just want to use my mana effectively. I don't really need those. Here I get to Ponder, and then I'm going to try hold up Circular Logic. Although, if I draw Inside Out, I guess I am going to cast it. And, well, I guess because I have the Circular Logic, then if my opponent taps out, I can beat a Fire Blast, so they're dead. So I guess if I draw Inside Out, actually, no, I'm not going to just go off. Augur of Bolas. Well, that is, I like Augur of Bolas for sure. So I think I just keep both of these on top. Again, I'm attempting to be the control deck here. My opponent doesn't necessarily know that, but that's the great part about Tribe, where my opponent doesn't necessarily know my game plan, and I get to see so much of my deck. Like I just ponder, brainstorm, ponder. I get lots of decisions, and my opponent, who is on burn, is at the mercy of their draws. Of course, I'm also at the mercy of their draws, but so it goes. So Firebrand Archer, I have a good card that lines up with that well, so I'm just going to let them do that. What is their last mountain for? Because they know they could die here. If they Lava Spike me, no, I untap, play land, Inside Out, Shadow Rift, Gush, counter. I can't, because I don't have the Inside Out. But they don't know that I can't. So they may just have a Lava Spike, want to use this mana to cast a sorcery, but they can't. Alright, Lava Spike is fine. So it's just time for that guy to die. Don't want to take any more damage from it. So I'm going to take 2, I'm going to go to 17. And then each burn spell they have is going to deal 1 more point of damage. So if they have Bolt, 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 Fire, Blast, then I would be dead. Like Bolt, 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 Bolt doesn't do it. Or Bolt, 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 Fire Blast, let's say. Because I have the Circular Logic. And I'm going to be at 13. So yeah, so I'm just going to counter the last one for lethal. And they're not going to be able to cast. They're not going to be able to kill me next turn as long as I have Circular Logic up. So here's the Augur. Let's do it. What do I see? I see the Inside Out and the Gush. Right, the Gush was the thing I put on top. So I think I just have to take the Inside Out. And then I'm going to use it. Kill their guy, I draw a card. They would need to get very lucky. Like the top card of their deck is going to need to be exactly the thing they need for them to kill me here. Because they're going to need... No, they just can't, right? So I'm going to get hit with some things. Okay, Needle Drop is a good one. Maybe there's a combination with Needle Drop and then drawing a mountain that I didn't consider. It's a double Fire Blast. Alright, my opponent is not representing double Fire Blast, so I could kill them if I draw Inside Out. So I'm going to designate 3 lands to the combo, which means I can use 2 mana now. No, 4, I need to designate 4 lands to the combo. And I'm going to Gush. So I can preordain. I win if I draw Inside Out. I don't want Gush and I don't want land. So those are going away. Alright, again, looking for Inside Out. If not, Counter Magic. Alright, I found Counter Magic and not Inside Out. That's fine. Outer Bolas. Wait, I don't need Shadow Rift, do I? Okay, I found Inside Out, but I'm a little bit late. That's okay, I don't need to go off this turn. I'm pretty safe. Okay, you know what? I screwed up. I probably could have cast the Ponder there. But I was thinking, like, I want to have double Counterspell up. But because my opponent's going to have 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then 5 from their draw. But I guess I don't actually need double Counterspell. I don't know. Like, if they're all 1 mana burn spells plus a Fire Blast, then I could die. And otherwise, it's going to be really hard for me to die. So I'd rather just not die. I don't know. Just, I don't feel very threatened. The opponent's not doing scary stuff. Searing Blaze. Targeting my creature. And they did play a land. Alright, so that leaves me with 2 pieces of counter magic for their last 2 cards. So now I'm feeling good. I don't think anything can go wrong now. I just have to kill them. They could have double Pyroblast, and I do not care. What's going on? Sticky keys. So, inside out. And I have to discard 4 cards, and I have 4 cards. So they're bolting the tribe. No. And again, as usual, I am very paranoid of things that would be ridiculous. What's that thing called? Lava dirt would be good. It would be good here. That's the kind of thing I'm very scared of. Probably not for a good reason, but alright, and there's the Fire Blast for lethal. Alright, and that's game. So my opponent was just hoping to bait. You know, my opponent says nice, but yeah. I drew very many extra cards that game. I shouldn't be surprised. That was turn 6. And it's not clear whether I was the aggro deck or the control deck there. Sometimes in some cases, or some series of draws from my opponent, I need to defend myself. Another, I'm totally fine. So, Lone Missionaries and Hydroblast for sure. Dispel on Piracy Charm, probably. I like Dispel. Piracy Charm I'm going to have to think about. So I definitely want Augurs, definitely want Inside Out. I don't think Showrift does anything. I might keep one of them. Keeping all the cantrips. Except for... well, don't want Giga Drowse. I'm going to cut some probes. Maybe go down to 1 or 2. Okay, yeah, I don't need Shadowrift. I think this is pretty good. Maybe I don't need any Piracy Charms at all. Just having an answer that's really narrow is sketchy. Maybe I should have 1 probe instead of 2, but these are all really narrow edges. The important thing is these 6 cards. And then these cards are the ones that change the game for me. Or not change the game, but that make the matchup so good, where I get to play the Augur and just beat them down with it. And in the grindy control game, I need the Augur as a source of 2 for 1s. And Burn has a wide variety of different sideboard plans, and I attribute that more to lack of good players playing Burn than anything else. Where, like, if there was a really good player who would play Burn and then top 8 with it every other week, then everybody would just copy their sideboard plans. But that doesn't exist, and I think it's because Burn's not very good. But, I digress. If there were somebody like that, then everybody would have the same sideboard plans instead of, who knows what they have. They could bring in Molten Rain against me. That would be a good one. I don't think a lot of people realize that, but Molten Rain is actually a good sideboard card against me because I only have the 1 plains and I need it. So I will try to play around that if I can. They could have Mortar of Ashes, they could have Electrickery, they could have also just have different sideboard plans. They could choose to side out their creatures. Maybe they could side in more creatures. I could imagine a world in which the best sideboard card is like Crown Hunter Hireling or something ridiculous like that. But I've never seen anything like that. Where I end up in these grindy games where my opponent just played a large threat. Like, I don't know, whatever the red version of Great Sable Stag is in Pauper. Like, there probably isn't one, but if my opponent were to cast a red Great Sable Stag, they would just win the game. Because I wouldn't be able to deal with it with a lot of the hands in this deck. Okay, maybe we would have to have evasion to get through the tribe, but even that would be a lot. Anyways, I'm kind of going on about nothing. So this hand, it doesn't do very much, but it has 2 pieces of counter magic, and a third, I guess, once I get up to circular logic time. So I'm just going to try to trade cards with my opponent. My opponent's going to lava spike me 3 times and then have 2 cards left. And my goal is to trade for those last 2 cards and then win. I can consider brainstorming here. If my opponent casts a creature, I'm just going to Hydroblast it. But if they don't, I think I might brainstorm. My opponent might have a Pyroblast in their hand, and so I've got to keep that in mind when I'm thinking about how to use my mana, because that's what the Dispel is aiming for. The Hydroblasts are for the permanents, the Dispels are for their Hydroblasts. Sometimes, well, anyways, let's just say that the tribe has taught me a lot about trying to guess what's in my opponent's hand. Where I didn't really understand how to do that before, and when I'm playing the tribe, I get this kind of, what do you call it? Not, feedback. Okay, there's a needle drop. Well, I'm going to counter that. I don't want my opponent drawing cards. It's kind of like a 2-for-1 because the 1 damage might matter. I don't necessarily need to leave up Hydroblast because I don't necessarily, because it's for permanents, the permanent can resolve and then I kill it. What was I saying? So, you know how they say that the way to become an expert at something is to get lots of practice with constant feedback? And so the way to become good at guessing what's in your opponent's hand is to play tribe, because you get to, or any deck with probes, because the cards in your opponent's hand, they matter a lot, and you need to make your decisions based on what's in their hand, and then you're going to be guessing all the time what's in their hand, and then you cast the probe and and you get reinforcement right away. Was I right, or did I guess wrong? Okay, so I don't need 4 lands, I don't need 2 gushes, so I'm just going to ditch gush and land. And I think I cast Preordain, because my opponent doesn't have a second land. That's exciting. And just send those both away. Lone Missionary. Okay. It's a good card in the matchup. Doesn't do anything right now, but eventually it will do something. Hopefully. Alright, so I'm getting lava spiked, but isn't able to kill me, then my life total doesn't matter. And because I have so many counters, it's more like, as long as my opponent can't kill me next turn, my opponent's going to have 5 cards next turn, maybe play a second land, cast Bolt, Fire Blast. That's not going to be enough. So I feel safe. Which means that on my next turn, I'm going to Augur, hold up Hydroblast. I guess I could just hold up Circular Logic. But it gets so bad if my opponent just plays a second land, passes, and then I want to do stuff on my turn, and then they double bolt me in response, and then untap and kill me. So I would rather get a creature down, and especially because there's this upfront mana investment on the cantrip that comes with it. Okay, I could do that. Yeah, I think I want to do that. Molten Rain almost made me not do it, but then I realized my opponent has only 1 mountain. And I want to get this guy out first because I just care about it less. And I want to get my life total not low so I don't have to worry in case my opponent goes untap, bolt, bolt. Because I will die to 5 bolts, which my opponent could draw in 2 turns. Now, my opponent needs 6 bolts. And so, again, this just gives it some breathing room to not care about what my opponent's doing. If my opponent rip bolted my face, they lava spike my face, it doesn't matter. It's just not relevant to me. Alright, there's a tribe and a hydroblast. Okay, I'm going to attack here. And then I'm going to hydroblast their archer if they don't block. And just hold up circular logic. No, wait a minute. I'm stupid. I have a tribe. What am I talking about? There's a better solution. And I'm thinking about Fire Blast. They might be. I really don't care if they cast Fire Blast, so I didn't need to play the tribe first. So I'm just trading for my cards. Just 1 for 1, 1 for 1, 1 for 1, and then they throw some lava spikes away. And all of a sudden I'm up by a bunch of 2 1s and 1 3s and 1 1s. So I have circular logic so I can counter a creature. They can Pyroblast me back, but that means that, like Pyroblast, not Fireblast, but they would need to play a land to do that, and I'm all for my opponent drawing lands. I can Gush Brainstorm away extra lands, my opponent draws a land, and it's dead for the rest of the game. Ooh. I don't really want to counter that because my opponent can just, or because I can just inside out it. But if I draw inside out, my opponent's going to be dead, so I'd rather just counter it. I'm still actually just not going to go off because my opponent could have Fire Blast, even though they would be left with no permanents, because it's just so hard to lose a sideboard game that's gone on past this point. Like it's reasonable that I might have a slow start and take a while to get going, and then my opponent will just cast 8 bolts really fast. But if that's not happening, it is almost impossible to lose these games. So I'm not taking any risks. There's an inside out, and I'm not casting it because I don't have a counter spell. Wait, no, I have a counter spell. I would hold on. I would need to discard. So I'm thinking, does my opponent have Fire Blast? If they do, what do I need? I'm going to have to discard 4 cards. I can Gush to go land, and the 2 cards that Gush draws. So I can discard 1, 2, 3, and then the card this draws is 4. Okay, never mind. I think that's right. And if it's not right, well, I still have my counter up. Ah, there's the probe. All right. Let's just see if my opponent's got anything crazy here. Bolt, bolt, chain lightning. Nope. So, yeah, I got them then. All right, never mind. I didn't need to think so much. Got them. Okay. See you in round 2.